Hello, hello, and welcome to the Creative Mindset Podcast. My name is Isolde Trachtenberg, and I am thrilled that you are here. Today is, of course, Friday, and that means we're doing the Overheard feature. The Friday feature is all about things that I have listened to, being a shameless eavesdropper, and life lessons I've learned from people I listen to usually at a Starbucks or other cafe or a restaurant, or sometimes just walking down the street. The first overheard today is from the library, and it was two young men, maybe aged 12 or 13, and they were standing just outside my little study carrel. And here we go. Young man one, dude, shut up. Number two, no way, dude, I'm going to check it out. You can't. That's a girl book. You can't read it. What? You're crazy. I can read whatever book I want. I really wanted to jump out of my little room and high-five that young man. I wanted to shout out, go on with your bad self, young man. Read whatever the heck you want. There are no such rules, and I'm so proud of you for not adhering to anyone else's idea of what you, quote, should and shouldn't, unquote, read. But I think they probably wouldn't have appreciated knowing I was eavesdropping. See, I'm never sorry I do eavesdrop because these slices of life are such a delight and they teach me so much. But honestly, I really wish I could have broken through and said something supportive. And I have to admit, I want to know what book caused this whole exchange, don't you? Wouldn't you love to know what book someone thought was a, quote, girl book, unquote? I'd love to know. There's no way to know. I'll never see these young men again, but it's really amazing to watch young people just break through barriers that probably when I was their age, I would have adhered to too. I don't recall ever feeling like books were out of my league or out of my lane, but I'm sure I must have heard those messages. We probably all hear messages about how we are, quote, supposed to behave, unquote. Boy, there are a lot of air quotes in this episode so far, but it's really true. We get messages all the time about how we're supposed to act, what we're supposed to look like, what kind of makeup. I mean, as you know, if you listen to this podcast regularly, you know that I talk about the undue influence of everything around us trying to push us into a particular direction, usually one that makes us feel worse about ourselves and one that makes us want to throw money at the thing that's making us feel bad about ourselves in an attempt to feel better about ourselves. And so this is my way of going, yeah, no, to quote friends. This is something that we can do for ourselves, actually. We can become a ton better at being ourselves and breaking through barriers. Now, if you're my age, a little bit older than these 12-year-olds, you probably have to do it more on purpose. You have to decide to ignore all of the bombardment of stimuli for all these years that tells you you're supposed to act a certain way, say certain things, be a certain way, look a certain way. Let's take a lesson from those young men and go, I don't care what anybody else says. If this is what I want to read, I'm going to read it. If this is what I want to be like, this is how I'm going to be. And the same goes for when you communicate. No, you probably don't want to deliberately hurt people's feelings unless, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure there ever is a time to decide, yes, I'm going to deliberately hurt your feelings. If it's not a situation where you're defending someone else, to me, kindness is pretty much always the way to go. And still, if someone is trying to limit who you are or limit how you want to be, if who you are and what you want to be is not hurting anybody else, then that's on them, not on you. You know, you should feel free to be your bad self, as my niece would say. So I wanted to get you this overheard because I thought it was really interesting and fascinating to hear from these young people just how one of them has sort of bought into this is what you're supposed to be like. And the other one going, no, I can be who I am. I can be who I want to be, and I can read what I want to read. The second overheard today is another young person teaching all of us an incredible lesson. This was at, I believe, Mad City Coffee, and a 7-year-old girl is talking to her mom. I like the ocean. I want to be a zoologist when I grow up, and I want to be a superhero too. And the mom said, honey, if you are a zoologist when you grow up, you will be a superhero. And I thought to myself, nice. That's exactly what it is. First of all, this young woman is not letting anything stop her. She wants to be both a zoologist and a superhero. And the mom recognized that someone who wants to work on the behalf of animals is a superhero. And again, if you listen to this podcast, you know how much of an advocate I am for animal welfare and animal rights. So anybody who has the fierce desire, even at 7 years old, to work on the behalf of animals and make sure that they survive and thrive, all of the different species, then how can I say anything but go you? Kudos to the little girl for wanting to do it, and kudos to the mom for not only supporting her, but honoring the important work working on the behalf of animals really is. And I forget who it was who said, maybe it was Forbes, maybe it was Gandhi, I'm not sure, but the quote is, you can get the measure of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him. And I think that is the most on-point quote. It's true. How we treat those who cannot help us, how we treat those who can do nothing for us, tells us everything about the person. So an animal that, a lion, a cheetah, a wildebeest, a chicken, a cow, a pig, a dog, a cat, a whale, a dolphin, they can't do anything for us. But if we treat them with kindness and respect, then we enrich the whole world. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. My name is Isolde Trachtenberg, and I'm thrilled that you're joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed the episode, as I said, and I will be back next week with 2 episodes, one on Wednesday, one on Friday. Wednesday's usually about self-development, and Friday's the overheard feature, the life lessons I learned from shameless eavesdropping. Until next time, I send you all of my love. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new, and please tell your friends about the community we're building here. Today's episode was produced by Isolde Trachtenberg and is copyright Isolde Trachtenberg 2019. Today's music was from Kevin MacLeod, Laser Groove, and Ave Marimba, brought to you by Creative Commons License 3.0. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope. Until next time, I send you all of my love.